0400 hours, February 12, 2026. Kharkiv Oblast, Ukraine. A lone Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jet is tearing through the freezing morning air at an altitude of just 30 meters. The pilot, call sign Dagger, is pushing the twin Klimov RD-33 engines to their absolute limit, maintaining a staggering speed of 950 kilometers per hour. At this extreme low altitude, the aircraft is completely hidden below the radar horizon of the formidable Russian air defense networks. To the naked eye, the jet is nothing more than a lethal blur roaring over the snow-covered forests, dodging high-voltage power lines and terrain obstacles with terrifying precision. Every single second is a brutal calculation of aerodynamics and physics. The target is a Russian first-person view drone operator base known as the Nest, a heavily fortified command post responsible for launching relentless drone swarms against Ukrainian infantry positions. This is not a mission of glory or cinematic heroism. It is a strictly mathematical equation of destruction, a calculated gamble where the variables are measured in altitude, radar cross-sections, and the rapidly depleting aviation fuel in the tanks of a Soviet-era fighter jet pushed far beyond its original design parameters. Slung beneath the wings of the aging fighter jet are two advanced French-supplied armament air-sol modular Hammer precision-guided munitions. These are not standard unguided gravity bombs, nor are they typical joint direct attack munitions. Each weapon represents a staggering financial investment of approximately 200,000 euros, loaded with highly sophisticated inertial navigation systems, global positioning satellite receivers, and solid propellant rocket boosters. This payload perfectly illustrates the brutal asymmetry of modern warfare. A high-value, highly complex aerial weapon system is being risked to obliterate a relatively cheap drone operation that utilizes commercial components worth only a few $100s each. But the strategic value of the Nest is immense, and its destruction is imperative to the survival of the frontline troops. The rocket boosters on the Hammer bombs give them a distinct tactical advantage, allowing the weapons to climb and glide significantly farther when released through a toss bombing maneuver. However, this mechanical advantage comes with a lethal catch. To launch the weapons successfully, Dagger cannot stay safely hidden at 30 meters. He must pitch the aircraft upward and climb to an altitude of 1,500 meters, completely exposing himself to the deadly Russian radar net. The moment the fighter jet leaves the protective embrace of the terrain clutter, the mission transforms into a lethal race against the speed of light and the processing power of Russian algorithms. Inside the cockpit, the radar warning receiver begins to emit a series of chilling, slow beeps. This distinct audio tone indicates that the powerful Irbis-E radar of a patrolling Russian Sukhoi Su-35 fighter has entered search mode and is sweeping the airspace. Dagger is suddenly faced with an impossible, agonizing dilemma that must be resolved in under 30 seconds. If he executes the required climb to release the Hammer munitions, he will immediately light up on the Sukhoi's radar screens, inviting a hypersonic air-to-air missile straight into his cockpit. If he decides to stay low and preserve his own life, the mission fails, and the Nest will continue to rain deadly explosives onto the entrenched Ukrainian soldiers. The decision is further complicated by the unforgiving reality of fuel consumption. Low-altitude flight through dense air creates massive aerodynamic drag, forcing the notoriously fuel-hungry engines to burn through the jet's reserves at an alarming rate. There is simply not enough aviation kerosene left for a protracted dogfight or a high-speed, afterburner-fueled escape if the Sukhoi decides to engage. The silence on the encrypted radio net is broken by a brief, urgent transmission from a forward reconnaissance drone operator. The intelligence confirms that the Russian operators inside the Nest are actively preparing to launch a massive, coordinated drone swarm against a vulnerable Ukrainian position. The threat is no longer theoretical, it is imminent. Weighing the lives of hundreds of infantrymen against his own survival, Dagger pulls back on the control stick and initiates a violent, high-G climb. The altimeter spins rapidly as the jet rockets from 30 meters to 1,500 meters. Instantly, the cockpit is flooded with audio alarms. The slow, rhythmic beeps of the radar warning receiver transition into a rapid, frantic pulsing, and then merge into one terrifying, continuous, high-pitched tone. It is the undeniable sound of a hard radar lock. The long-range S-400 air defense system, stationed 38 kilometers away, has acquired the climbing aircraft. At that distance, the jet is well within the lethal engagement envelope of the system's interceptor missiles. The Russian fire control computers are already calculating the firing solution, analyzing the target's speed, altitude, and trajectory. Dagger has only a handful of seconds to release his payload before a surface-to-air missile leaves its launch tube and begins a Mach 4 journey toward his exact location. With the continuous tone of the radar lock screaming in his headset, Dagger reaches the precise release parameter. The weapon's computer flashes the authorization, and he immediately triggers the mechanical release sequence. The two Hammer munitions detach from the wing pylons, their solid propellant rocket motors igniting instantly to propel them higher into the stratosphere. Without wasting a single millisecond, Dagger inverts the fighter jet and pulls the stick straight back into his lap, executing a violently aggressive split-S maneuver. The aircraft plummets back toward the Earth, pulling tremendous gravitational forces that press the pilot deep into his ejection seat. The goal is to dive back below the radar horizon fast enough to break the S-400's telemetry lock before the missile is fired. But as the jet hurtles downward, a new, localized threat emerges from the ground below. A highly mobile Tor-M2 short-range air defense system, hidden beneath the tree canopy, detects the diving aircraft and launches a command-guided interceptor missile. The situation has cascaded from dangerous to catastrophic. Dagger is now trapped between the long-range radar lock from above and a fast-approaching missile threat rapidly ascending from the ground, with his altitude dropping drastically and his fuel gauge steadily edging toward empty. The command-guided missile from the Tor-M2 system accelerates upward, a deadly cylinder of high explosives and fragmentation sleeves chasing the diving Mikoyan MiG-29. Dagger's thumb slams into the countermeasures dispenser switch on the flight stick, instantly ejecting a massive cloud of chaff into the freezing air. Thousands of microscopically cut aluminum and glass fiber strips bloom behind the jet, creating a massive, highly reflective radar signature intended to confuse the incoming threat. But Dagger does not rely on physics alone. He simultaneously activates the onboard electronic warfare pod, initiating a sophisticated range gate pull-off deception technique. The pod captures the incoming radar pulses from the Tor system, amplifies them, and beams them back with a microscopic time delay. To the Russian fire control computer, this creates a false, highly attractive radar echo, a digital ghost ship that appears to be flying slightly behind the actual fighter jet. The Tor missile, guided by the deceived radar, aggressively alters its course to intercept the phantom target. It detonates harmlessly a safe distance away from the MiG-29, filling the sky with shrapnel that shreds nothing but empty air and aluminum strips. Dagger violently pulls the control stick back, arresting his steep dive mere meters above the jagged treetops. The brutal evasive maneuver burns a massive, unsustainable amount of aviation fuel, leaving the aircraft with almost zero margin of error to make the 78-kilometer journey back to base. While the fighter jet fights for survival in the chaotic airspace below the radar horizon, the two released Hammer munitions continue their autonomous, one-way journey at high altitude. Propelled by their solid rocket motors, the bombs reach their apex and transition into a steep, unpowered glide toward the nest. They are no longer dependent on the aircraft or the pilot for guidance. Instead, they rely on a highly encrypted, jam-resistant combination of global positioning satellite signals and advanced inertial navigation systems. Even as Russian electronic warfare units blanket the electromagnetic spectrum with intense jamming interference, the mechanical gyroscopes and accelerometers inside the bombs calculate their exact position in three-dimensional space without needing external radio updates. As the munitions enter the terminal phase of their descent, a sophisticated infrared seeker in the nose of each weapon is activated. An internal cryogenic cooling mechanism rapidly drops the temperature of the sensor array down to -40 degrees Celsius. The Russian air defense network does not completely ignore the incoming threat from above. Operators manning a Buk-M3 medium-range surface-to-air missile system detect the two rapidly descending anomalies on their radar screens and attempt to initiate an interception protocol. However, the physical reality of the engagement heavily favors the Ukrainian munitions. The Hammer bombs possess a remarkably small radar cross-section compared to a fighter jet, and their unpowered glide makes them relatively cold targets against the background of the sky. Buk-M3 radar struggles to maintain a continuous, high-quality track on the plunging weapons, ultimately failing to generate a firing solution before the bombs slip below the system's minimum engagement altitude. Unhindered by the intercept attempt, the two bombs utilize their aerodynamic control fins to make micro-adjustments to their flight path. zeroing in on the specific thermal signature of the nest. The infrared seekers easily distinguish the heat radiating from the diesel generators and the concentration of human bodies inside the building against the frozen landscape. The mathematical probability of a direct hit steadily climbs toward 100% as the munitions lock onto the warm, beating heart of the Russian drone operation. Inside the reinforced concrete walls of the targeted facility, the atmosphere is utterly disconnected from the lethal mathematics unfolding in the sky above. Dozens of Russian operators are casually seated at their stations, manipulating control sticks and watching video feeds, flying their first-person view drones as if they were engaged in an immersive video game. They are completely unaware of the two precision-guided munitions hurtling toward their roof at supersonic speeds. The first Hammer bomb strikes the building with devastating kinetic force, easily penetrating the reinforced roof structure before its sophisticated delayed action fuse triggers the main explosive charge deep inside the main operating room. The resulting detonation creates an instantaneous, catastrophic overpressure blast that vaporizes personnel, shatters commercial electronics, and structurally compromises the facility from within. A fraction of a second later, the second munition impacts precisely near the structural foundation of the building. The combined force of the two explosions completely destabilizes the load-bearing columns, causing the entire roof to collapse inward under its own weight. What was once a highly organized command post is instantly reduced to a smoldering crater of pulverized concrete and twisted metal. High above the battlefield, a Ukrainian observation drone operator calmly watches the live video feed, confirming the total annihilation of the target as a massive plume of dark smoke rises into the freezing winter sky. Although the drone command post has been completely erased from the operational map, the lethal mathematics of the mission are far from resolved for the pilot. Dagger is still trapped in a terrifying high-speed contour flight mere meters above the freezing Ukrainian terrain, and the threat environment has not diminished. High above the cloud layer, the Russian Sukhoi Su-35 fighter jet remains on station, its powerful Urbisi radar continuously sweeping the airspace below. The Russian pilot knows that the Ukrainian jet must eventually climb to conserve fuel, and he is patiently waiting for that exact moment to achieve a radar lock and launch an air-to-air missile. To survive the Sukhoi, he must remain perfectly masked within the ground clutter at an altitude of 30 meters. However, flying at 950 kilometers per hour through the dense, low-altitude air creates immense aerodynamic drag, forcing the twin Klimov RD-33 engines to consume aviation kerosene at a catastrophic rate. The distance back to the safety of the home airfield is exactly 78 kilometers, but the fuel gauges are indicating a terrifying reality. There is simply not enough remaining fuel to make the journey under these high-drag conditions. The mission has shifted from a calculated strike into a desperate battle against thermodynamics and fuel starvation. To extract every possible meter of range from the dying fighter jet, Dagger must immediately shed all parasitic energy consumption. Inside the cockpit, he begins a systematic, ruthless shutdown of every non-essential electrical and hydraulic system. He reaches across the console and disables the main radar array, blinding himself to airborne threats but saving precious kilowatts of engine power. He powers down the encrypted radio communications, severing his link to the command center and isolating himself completely in the hostile sky. He even shuts off the environmental control systems, killing the cockpit heating. The ambient temperature inside the canopy rapidly plummets toward -20 degrees Celsius, freezing the condensation on the instrument panels. Dagger is now flying a 20-ton machine purely by visual reference and backup mechanical instruments. High above, the loitering Russian Sukhoi Su-35 finally reaches its own bingo fuel limit and is forced to turn back toward its base. The immediate missile threat evaporates, but the microscopic margin of fuel remaining in the Mikoyan MiG-29 tanks is an even more relentless enemy. The visual silhouette of the home airbase finally emerges through the freezing haze, but the aircraft is running on literal fumes. At exactly 12 kilometers from the runway threshold, the digital warning displays flash a brilliant, terrifying red. The right Klimov RD-33 engine experiences complete fuel starvation, sputtering violently before spooling down into silence. The sudden loss of asymmetrical thrust forces Dagger to fight the flight controls, wrestling the rudder pedals to keep the heavy fighter jet aligned with the landing strip. He is now flying a heavily compromised, single-engine aircraft that is rapidly losing airspeed and altitude. There is no possibility of a go-around. He has exactly one attempt to put the landing gear onto the concrete. He drops the heavy landing gear and extends the flaps, feeling the massive increase in drag pulling the aircraft downward. As the main wheels cross the absolute edge of the runway concrete, the left engine consumes its final drops of aviation kerosene and flames out completely. The entire aircraft goes devastatingly quiet, stripped of all hydraulic and electrical power generated by the engines. The Mikoyan MiG-29 touches down hard, the tires smoking against the freezing tarmac, and rolls silently down the runway purely on its remaining kinetic energy until it finally coasts to a complete dead stop. This localized, brutal engagement perfectly encapsulates the unromantic reality of 21st century warfare. The destruction of the Russian drone hub was not achieved through cinematic bravery, ideological fervor, or traditional concepts of military glory. It was an execution of pure, unforgiving physics, where survival was dictated by radar cross-sections, thermal imaging gradients, and the precise management of fuel fractions. A €200,000 guided munition was traded to neutralize a swarm of drones built from commercial components, proving that modern conflict is an industrial and economic equation as much as a tactical one. The human element, represented by Dagger navigating a freezing, dying aircraft back to base, serves only as the fragile biological processor, managing these complex, overlapping technological systems. The operation is concluded, the target is erased, and the brutal mathematics of the war reset for the next mission.